story about a young girl named Tiffany. She once was a child, a small, innocent child that everyone used to love even without her trying. She had a big smile that shows genuineness, which now turned into an awkward forced line. A once lively girl who did not care about other people is now standing on this stage talking about her experience of pleasing people. A little background about myself. I lived a life where I was never pressured to excel in anything. Sounds like an ideal life, right? Pero for me kasi, palagi ako nakakaramdam ng guilt every time I do something na hindi nagiging maganda yung outcome. The burden that I feel even when I was never pressured to excel. Pero I can hear the voices of their silent expectations. So guess what I did? If people are not gonna pressure me, then I'm gonna pressure myself so that I could feel ashamed every time I fail. To be honest, payapa na talaga yung buhay ko dati. Talagang hindi lang ako na-satisfy sa sarili ko kaya gumawa ako ng problema. Hanggang sa dumami na to. And naging motivation ko pa nga to. Kasi ever since then, I always strive to be named as the girl who brings nothing but pride to people. A very toxic motivation, I can say. Aware naman ako ron, and aware din naman ako that people were proud of me in any way I did in life. But lahat naman siguro dito, gusto maging someone who people could brag about. Someone to be proud of. And I longed for that. Kaya I constantly looked to make people pleased with me by being someone who they expect them to be. This was also the beginning of my behavior of pleasing people. Until unti-unti na to naging part ng character ko, which I carried for half of my life. I'm sure that everyone here has heard of the word what if. Ayan, my favorite word kasama ng pag-overthink. There were a lot of what ifs in my head. What if I found peace within me? What if I was satisfied with myself? What if I did something that I like but they didn't? Is it considered wrong? Or would people still like me? Of course not. But I hate being a so-called doormat, soaking up others' expectations para lang ma-meet ko yung expectations nila. I developed strong grudges and lost myself during those years, giving them my all, but all they do is head out for the door. Kaya naman, I slowly tried to get rid of the version of myself na nagawa ko by using what we called boundaries. I'll admit, nahirapan ako nung umpisa dahil hindi ako sanay sa ganito. At mas gusto kong I make smiles rather than frowns. But if I continue to compromise to meet the expectations of others, I will continue to face unbearable treatments that are unfair to me as I strive to give people what they deserve, which is satisfaction. Again, I wanted to get out of the situation kung saan I have to stoop down sa level ng isang tao para lang ma-meet ko yung gusto niya. So I learned to stand my ground. Now what do I mean by that? There was once a case where I exploded, not literally, but you know what I mean. Kasi my so-called friend reached my limit, so it means na hindi ko na siya kayang i-tolerate. So I called her out. It was my first time standing up for myself, and although it felt nice because I feel powerful that I have the courage to say that to her. Pero I was scared, really scared. Kasi kahit na she would always make me feel small to make herself superior, she was still my friend. Until one time, she said very insulting words to me. I mean, hindi naman yun bago, pero malaki pa rin yung impact niya sa akin. So, I called her out, di ba? And when I did that, her reason was that ganun lang talaga siya and that she didn't really mean it. Ilang buwan ko yung tiniis, pero dahil dala na lang sa emosyon ko, I said words to her that she did not expect that would come out of my mouth. It was that bad. So long story short, I cut ties with her. Never pa ako nakipag-cut ties sa tao because I hold on to memories. Pero I've come to realize na mas maaalala ko yung mga judgment, sarcasms, and mistreatment sa akin kasi yun ang mas maraming effect sa akin eh. So having the courage to call her out and tell her that she overstepped the line never made me feel more relief than before. Also, I found this very interesting because I saw the difference between genuine people and opportunist people in my life. I saw people who were willing to be with me from those na makikilala lang yung pangalan ko kapag may kailangan sila. So, if I have to go back to where all this started, I would go all the way back to knowing myself. Since madalas ako mag-daydream or mag-muni-muni, maraming beses ko nang question yung buong pagkatao ko. How well do I know myself? Kasi paiba-iba ako ng personality depending on the person I'm with. So, tinry ko talagang intindihin yung sarili ko. Kasi one time, nag-uusap kami ng friends ko about a certain topic. And hindi nila nagustuhan yung take ko kasi it was different from them. So, na-invalidate yung mga say and feelings ko. Deep inside, nalungkot ako. At the same time, nagalit ako kasi valid din naman yung express ko. So, I stayed quiet after that until they noticed that I was getting uncomfortable na. So, they confronted me about it and said that I shouldn't feel that way over such small things. Alam niyo ba kung anong ginawa ko after that? Nung umuwi ako, doon ako naglabas ng sama ng loob. Nag-rant ako na nag-rant sa Twitter ko, sa private account ko. Because that is the only place or space that I could fully express myself without being judged. From my perspective, this generation can really relate to my situation. We rather to keep it in ourselves than directly confronting people. Kasi for me, kapag hindi ko na-express yung mga emotions, feelings ko, lalo lang silang magpa-pile up and one day I will have a sudden outburst because of my suppressed emotions. Pero of course, since nagbabago na nga ako, the next day kinonfront ko sila. And thankfully, that situation didn't happen again kasi hindi ko na sila kaibigan. Now, onto the final ground. Just like the 5 stages of grief, I also have the acceptance stage. For me, ito yung pinakamahirap kasi I'm an idealistic person. So realizing that it's impossible to please others all the time did not process well on me. Because I always liked the idea of having or getting or receiving the validations from others. I feel like lahat naman tayo ganon. Pero ang exhausting din kasi, di ba? Kailangan ko maging ganito dito, maging ganito sa ganyan. Paiba-iba, hanggang sa hindi ko na ma-differentiate yung sarili ko from others' version of me. So I said to myself, it's natural for me, for this girl, to not meet the expectations of everyone. Also, tinanggap ko na rin yung reality ko that I have no power over how people will choose to treat me, but I had the power to control how I will respond. Kasi, hindi naman lahat will act as I expect them to. Kind and respectful. Dahil merong mga tao that would manipulate me, i-invalidate yung mga sinasabi ko, at go beyond my limitations. Hindi lahat ng pinapakita ko sa tao is what I will receive in return. And that's okay. Mahirap man i-take yun, pero that's reality and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't force someone to be understanding just as I can force them to change their behavior. So if isa-summarize ko lahat ng naging realizations ko sa life, it would be having limitations is not a selfish act. It's more of being kinder to myself kasi alam kong hindi ko dapat tinotolerate yung ganong behavior or go overboard para lang mapansin ako ng tao. Sabi nga ni Lao Tzu, care about what other people think and you will always be their prisoner. I found peace and felt ease, not from others, but from myself. Because at the end of the day, the only people that are worth pleasing are my past and future self. Thank you.